Today is one of these days that Plarium has shared shitloads of information with us and has decided, okay, you can speak about these things from today on. There's a lot of information, so let's go with the first video where we're gonna cover 2 rebalances as well as some interesting events that are gonna happen in this weekend and in the nearest future. Let's have a look at it. Hi, Senda here and welcome to another raid video. In this case, I'm gonna split this video in 2 because we have 2 bits of information that are pretty interesting. The first one, the least important to say it somehow, is the event that we're gonna have this weekend. Right now, we have a ×2 event in Sacred Shards as well as a ×15, like no, actually not ×15, but ×10. So even better, in Usul of the Jade, which is one of the newest champions. It's a DPS, it's a damage dealer, his function is to deal a lot of damage. He hits even harder, he gets extra turns. It's fun, but we know there's a fusion around the corner, that the fusion looks pretty good. Fusion seems pretty interesting, that you're not gonna miss, you're not gonna want to miss on the fusion, so maybe opening the shards is not the best plan. However, on Sunday, this Sunday, and for 48 hours, so Sunday and Monday, we're gonna have certain event of ×2 in Primal Shards. And what makes this special is that in this case, it is gonna include a ×2 also in Mythical Champions, which means it's gonna be the best time to pull a Mythical. And that's why we should always save all the Primal Shards when there is one of these ×2 event on Mythical, because sometimes they don't activate the ×2 in Mythicals, it's just for Legendaries and Epics, and then it's not worth. But in this case, it's gonna be 4 Mythicals, it's an interesting one. That's why I've been saving my shards. I have 18, I don't have that many, but since the last one until this one, this is how many I've been able to get for free. I haven't spent a single dollar or dime or cent or penny in Primal Shards and buying Primal Shards. This is just what you generate with the game, and I'm not even the most active in playing live arena. I probably could have more. But just for this information, on Sunday there is going to be a ×2, and I kind of recommend opening then. Not the Sacred Shards, not the Ancients, not the Voids, because we have a fusion coming that's interesting. That's the first part of the video. Second part of the video is the rebalance, the champion rebalance. I really like champion rebalances because they always kind of give the chance of a champion to be out of the vault. Normally the champion rebalances are to champions that are a bit average, that they're not very used, and in this case both of them fill that role. They're not very used and they're not very good. Let's go with the first one, which is the Mountain King. I'm pretty sure this is the second rebalance he gets. He got one long time ago. I think they increased his HP up to the number that we have now. 31,000 is the champion with the highest HP in the game, and for that reason, I mean, he also hits hard-ish, but it's not part of the meta. But basically the role of the Mountain King was just to put a shield set on him, one of these support sets that would give like a protected shield that no one can remove. And because it has so much health, that shield is going to be a big fat shield that's going to be able to protect your champions for a long time. But that's about it. He was too slow, his attack wasn't, I mean, it's not bad, but his hits and his multipliers weren't the best, and that's a bit where it's aimed, this new rework. According to the information we have, I'm going to put it here on the side so we're going to be able to see it. The idea behind the rebalance of Mountain King was to bring his kit up to speed with the current meta, both in PvP and PvE. So I'm not sure if he kind of fills that role. I mean, he's definitely going to be better. I think he's definitely going to hit much harder, and it's going to be a bit easier to use him, especially in PvE, basically for the same reason as now, because he's going to have so much health. But this is what the rebalance does. I mean, right now, he was super simple. Attacks one enemy and ignores 50% of the defense, attacks one enemy and ignores this, not even an aura, for this you have to kill, so it's the simplest champion. I mean, there's rare champions with more complex skills than him. I mean, apply buffs, apply debuffs. In this case, it's attacks one enemy, attacks one enemy, attacks one enemy. Super simple. The rebalance he's gonna get is basically on the A1, he's gonna do the same, attacks one enemy, and they're gonna add that fills this champion's turn meter by 10%, which is not bad, but it's not great either. It's gonna help because he's so slow, only 85%, only 85 speed. He's so slow that it was taking forever for him to get a turn. So it's attack is gonna increase, I mean only one attack is gonna increase to 10% the turn meter and fills an additional 2% for each buff on the target, which means if we attack enemy champions with a lot of buffs, we're going to be able to boost our turn meter a little more. I'm not too fond of this, you need to attack enemies that have a lot of buffs just in order to get a bit of turn meter, but better than it is right now. I mean, the rebalance is gonna be good, or at least, like I said, it's gonna do something else that not just attacks one enemy. On his A2, this was his hard-hitting ability, basically because it has automatically inbuilt an ignore of 50% of the target's defense, so this was the hard hit. What they're gonna do is, this is gonna remain the same, they're gonna add something else, which is pretty cool, and it grants an extra turn if this attack kills an enemy. And this is quite likely to kill an enemy because, like I said, hits hard and scales based on HP and attack. So it's interesting because it's very easy to put him a lot of HP, a lot of attack, and hit really hard with this. It's quite likely to kill enemies with this, and now we're going to be able to have an extra turn. On the A3 is what we're going to do after we get the extra turn, which is does pretty much the same as it is now, attacks on enemy, but on top of ignoring shield and ignoring block damage, what he's going to be able to do is going to ignore shield, strengthen, unkillable, ally protection, and block damage buffs, which is cool, but again, if they would have added he also ignores stone skin, it would have been cherry on top. It would have been really interesting champion. Sadly, he is not the case. Sadly, he's not going to be able to ignore the stone skin, but at least we're going to be able to more or less ignore everything else. Except, for example, increased defense, that doesn't ignore, but he ignores pretty much everything else. And on top of that, on top of ignoring a lot more enemy buffs, is going to decrease the cooldown of Enchanted Axe skill by 2 turns if this attack kills an enemy. So Enchanted Axe is this one, we're going to be able to hit with this skill, hopefully kill someone, get an extra turn. With the extra turn, we're going to have this thing. With this, we can hit another enemy that's going to be protected by a lot of things. And if we kill that enemy, this is going to decrease the cooldown of the skill, which means we're going to be able to have it ready on the next turn. So it's pretty interesting combo, at least a bit better than it is now. I'm not sure if we're going to see him played much more, but at least he's better. He's going to have more synergies, he's going to be able to have more turns, and in that sense to hit more times. On the passive, right now is it just increases this champion's attack, by 50% each time this champion kills an enemy, and stacks up to 100%, which is cool. The more enemies we kill, the harder are the next hits. And they're gonna add that it's also immune to decreased defense and block active skills, which is really good. I mean, that means he's unstoppable in that sense. We cannot decrease the attack, and he's always gonna hit us with the maximum attack and a lot of HP. And also immune to block active skills, means he's going to be immune to Carnage, to champions like Galathir, to champions like Lugan, champions like Ronda, all these guys that plays block active skills. He's going to be much more unstoppable in that sense, because we can lower his attack, he has a lot of inbuilt resistance, 90 resistance is pretty high. Also, he's going to be able to hit pretty hard, get extra turns, ignore things, and we're not going to be able to stop it because he's going to be immune to block active skills. The trick here, and I'm thinking now, okay, maybe Galathir, he's going to be able to kind of counter Galathir in that sense, but we have Carnage and we have Ronda that also block, not only active skills, but also passive skills. So if we block the passive, which it will mean that we're able to apply block active attacks. I mean, he's going to be immune to block active skills, but if we block the passive, then we can apply the block actives. So first we need to place the block passives, and then we're going to be able to place the other one. It's a bit tricky and a bit silly. I mean, he should be immune to both. Otherwise, if you block his passive, then you can stop him easily because he doesn't do anything. But again, is this an extra thing? Is it better than what he was? Yes, he will be better than what he is right now, but he's not going to be, the best champion rebalance. And on top of that, they also add a 25% ally attack in all battles aura, which is not needed. Attack-based auras are not the most used, but hey, it's a free aura that currently he doesn't have, so it's gonna make the champion a bit better. That's all for the Mountain King. Interesting. We'll have to test him, we'll have to see if he's going to be viable, how much he hits now. I actually have a very powerful one, but it's basically like a meat bag, what I call him. It's Mountain King. He's just, I call him a meat bag, has so much HP that it's so easy to just scale this like crazy, 150,000 HP. I mean, it's almost like a boss or a minion. He has also easily scalable resistance because he has so much high resistance as a base that it's very easy to just increase that. And probably will need some more crit damage, crit rate, and the speed, he's just really slow. There's not much we can do on that front. But in my case, I paired him with a bolster set. I think I called him different before. A bolster set or even a shield set, and because he has so much HP, he's gonna be able to apply some massive shields to the allies. So it will be interesting to see how he hits and what's his synergy and so on after the rebalance. This is one of the champions. The other one that they've been rebalanced, that they are gonna rebalance, I'm not sure exactly when is this coming live, but I'm guessing at the same point as the fusion next week, so on the 5th of June. The other champion affected is the Blind Seer. Now the Blind Seer, he was a pretty bad Void champion. I mean, the ratings speak for themselves. He was a very limited one. If you would pull her as a Void Shard, you wouldn't be very happy about it. And mainly, she was known as Mithrala food. We can come here, Empower Champions, and we could see that in order to improve Mithrala, we needed to eat Blind Seer copies. Most of these champions here are known as food off. For example, Noble. No one would upgrade the Noble. Noble is known as Ninja's food. So Blind Seer was kind of known as Mithrala's food because, I mean, why would you use her? If you're in the beginning, in early, mid-game, maybe you don't have any other reviver, you don't have any other champion that is able to like revive and not even cleanse, heal, place block debuff, something like that, then you could use her. On Faction Wars, she's definitely useful. I mean, I don't have any other reviver, and there is no more legendary revivers, I think. So Blind Seer, for this case, she was pretty powerful. We have Kaden in the epics, but again, if you're in the hard faction wars, you would need something else than just an epic. And in this case, Blind Seer fills that role. What was a shame with on her kit is that she was super limited, so like the A1 was random, the percentage was really low, this was like very simple, this was just a revive, that's it, 0-10 meter, nothing interesting. And it was a shame because she had pretty high stats. She had good HP, good attack, really high speed. I mean, it was a shame of a champion. The changes that they're gonna do to Blind Seer are a bit on that line. I mean, she's gonna do the same. She's gonna do attack an enemy 3 times at random, but now each hit has a 30% chance of decreasing the turn meter. 30% was too low, and they're gonna increase that to 80%. They're also gonna increase this books one, so it's gonna, instead of being plus 5%, it's gonna be plus 10%. If she is booked, that's gonna go to 100% chance of decreasing the turn meter by 10%. They're gonna lower this 15 to 10, so we're gonna be more able to reduce enemy turn meter just a little bit less. On her A2, this is a powerful skill, but they missed one of the most important things that would have made this skill really good. Right now, just places a block debuffs on all allies, and then places a shield, and the shield is as big as 30% of this champion's max HP. What they miss here, and they're still missing, is a cleanse. We want to be able to clean all the debuffs, and then to place a block debuffs, and put a shield. That would have been the ideal case scenario. Instead of that, they added that on top of doing the same thing as she does right now, she's gonna be able to heal all allies by 20% of this champion's max HP. It's a very similar skill, and I think the best one of all of these type of skills is the one Elva has, which is exactly what she's missing. What Elva does is removes all the debuffs, places a block debuffs, and places increased speed. Then we have another champions that do similar things, like Pythion, which is in Lizardman. Pythion, here is kind of the same. Removes all debuffs, then heals, and then places a block debuffs, which is pretty complete. And then on the other side, we have another similar champion as Duchess Lilitu, which is here, which also we place block debuffs, we place this, we place that. I think this girl also does something similar, heals all the allies, plays increased defense and increased speed. So it's on the same league as these other champions, Preva, Duchess, Sifi, Elva, Glaycat, all these champions able to cleanse / heal, also able to apply block debuffs, and also able to revive. The blind seer is going to be a bit more on the same league as her. She's not going to be top of the league, but she's going to be that kind of similar role. So heal, block debuffs, fat shield, and that's it. I'm missing, like I said, the cleanse. And finally, on her E3, revives all dead allies to 35% HP, which is not bad, but is a bit underwhelming. They're gonna increase that bit. I mean, now she's gonna be able to revive all dead allies with 50% HP, which is better, and a 30% turn meter, which is better. And then also she's going to be able to place the block debuffs on all allies except this champion for 1 turn. So it's not bad. They're going to lower the cooldown of this skill, so it's going to be 5 turns. With books it's going to go to 4 turns. It's going to be a revive every 4 turns with certain HP, with certain turn meter, and able to heal and place shields and reduce turn meter. So better, definitely more useful, but still a bit far from other champions on her same league filling the same role that are not Void champions, and that's probably my complaint about Blind Seer's rebalance. That's all for today's video. There's going to be more interesting news in a following coming video in the next hours, probably. I'll film it right after this one. That's all the information I have for you today. Double rebalance event for the weekend. Thanks a lot for watching the video. Over here, I'll leave a recommended one, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.